So it sounds like you're ready to like really like dig deep into this whole anxiety thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're tackling Beyond Anxiety today
Okay.
by Martha Beck, and it's got a lot of interesting research in it from different cultures and all that. Our goal today is to kind of try to pinpoint some stuff that, you know, you can actually use to shift your perspective.
Sure.
And maybe even like start, you know, living beyond that anxiety.
Yeah, and what's really cool about Beck's approach is that it like goes beyond just those like, you know, kind of surface level coping mechanisms.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And she really digs into like what causes anxiety, both like in ourselves and in like the structure of our whole society, you know?
So we're not just looking for Band-Aids here.
Exactly.
We're trying to understand the bigger picture.
The root causes.
Yeah, the root causes.
Yeah.
I'm interested by what you said about the society stuff.
Yeah.
But first, I'm curious about that concept of neuroplasticity.
Right.
Beck talks about it, you know, how our brains aren't fixed, that we can rewire them. So how does that apply to this?
Well, it's one of the most hopeful things about neuroscience these days.
Really?
Essentially, our brains are always changing and adapting based on what we, you know, experience.
Oh, wow.
And Beck points to these studies on Tibetan monks who have like developed really dense tissue in the parts of the brain that are linked to happiness and compassion.
Really?
Through years of meditation.
It's like they've sculpted their brains through practice.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Does that mean that like we could all train our brains to be less anxious?
That's the idea, yeah.
Wow.
Beck argues that by understanding how anxiety works and intentionally engaging in practices that, you know, promote calmness and well-being, we can gradually shift those pathways in the brain, you know? So it's not about erasing anxiety completely. It's about changing our relationship to it.
That reminds me of the distinction that Beck makes between anxiety and fear.
Yes.
She says that fear is a healthy you know, instinctual response
right.
to immediate danger.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that time I ran into a leopard on safari.
Oh, my God.
My heart was racing, adrenaline pumping.
Yeah.
My amygdala was definitely sending out those fight or flight signals.
For sure.
But it was like a totally appropriate response to an actual threat.
Exactly. That's that gift of fear, right? It's there to protect us in those like serious life or death situations.
Yeah.
But anxiety, like Beck describes it, is often triggered by perceived threats. So things that our brains kind of misinterpret as dangerous, even when they're not, really.
So it's like our internal alarm system is like going haywire.
Yes.
Sending us into like a frenzy over stuff that might not even happen.
It's a great analogy. It's like, you know, our brains are stuck in what if mode. Constantly looking for danger and blowing things out of proportion.
And to make it even worse, she says that this, you know, this spiral is made worse by both internal things, like our negativity bias, right? And external pressures from society.
Absolutely. We are just bombarded with negative information all the time.
Constantly.
The news, social media, even just like casual conversation that like we're swimming in a sea of fear and anxiety, you know.
So it's not just our own wiring. It's like the whole environment we live in that's contributing to this anxiety epidemic.
Yeah, it's pretty sobering.
Yeah, it is.
When you think about it.
It is. I'm curious about what Beck says we can do about it. If those relaxation techniques aren't enough, where do we even start to unravel this?
That's where she brings in this really fascinating concept called anxiety whispering.
Anxiety whispering.
Yeah, so instead of trying to like fight anxiety or suppress it, she says we need to listen to it.
Oh, wow.
Try to understand what it's trying to tell us, you know?
So most of us are kind of taught to see anxiety as like the enemy.
Right, exactly.
Like we need to conquer it or control it.
Yeah, like it's a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a totally different way of looking at it.
It is. It's a real shift in perspective.
Yeah.
She actually compares it to Chris Voss, you know, the former FBI hostage negotiator.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of using like force or threats, right? He learned to de-escalate those like really intense situations by like really deeply listening to his adversaries.
Wow.
Understanding like what their motivations were and finding that, like, common ground.
So we should approach anxiety with empathy.
Yeah, exactly.
Understanding.
Yeah, like
instead of just trying to silence it.
Yeah, we're inviting it to the table, right?
Like it's part of us.
Yeah.
It's trying to protect us in its own kind of messed up way.
Yeah, exactly. It's recognizing that anxiety is a part of us. It's trying to protect us, even if it's kind of misguided.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how this could work.
Yeah.
But, like, how do we actually do it?
Right.
What are the, like, steps involved?
Well, one of the first steps is understanding how we typically react to those perceived threats. And Beck describes this as a defense cascade.
The defense cascade.
Yeah, it's a series of, like, instinctive reactions that just kind of kick in when we feel anxious.
Oh, okay.
And these reactions can show up in different ways.
Okay.
Fight, flight, fawn, freeze, and flop.
Huh. Wow. That's quite a cascade.
It is, yeah.
Can you give some examples of how these show up?
Sure, yeah.
In everyday life?
So think of someone like Jim. You know, he flies off the handle when his printer jams.
Yeah.
That's a classic fight response, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lashing out at the perceived threat.
Okay.
Then you've got Fred, who avoids vulnerability by, like, ghosting dates.
Oh, yeah.
That's flight.
Flight, okay.
Running away from the discomfort.
Okay.
And Lindsay, who's always showering people with, like, fake compliments. You know? That's fawning.
Fawning, okay.
Trying to appease the threat.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's Emma.
Yeah.
She freezes up under pressure.
Yes, that's freeze in action.
Can't think or speak.
Yeah, exactly.
And finally, like Kirby retreats to her couch for days.
Yeah.
Just totally overwhelmed and shuts down.
That's flop. Yeah.
So these are natural, right?
They are natural, yeah.
But not always helpful.
Not always helpful, right?
Yeah. They keep us stuck in those.
Yes. They can definitely keep us stuck.
Anxiety spirals, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we break free from these reactive patterns?
Well, a crucial step is understanding our triggers.
Triggers?
Yeah. Those kind of like hidden landmines in our subconscious, you know, that can just set off our anxiety in a second.
Triggers are fascinating.
They are. They're so sneaky.
Yeah.
But they have this incredible power.
They really do.
To just take over our emotions.
Yeah. And Beck says that they often develop from associations between, like, sense memories and past painful experiences.
Exactly. Our brains are constantly making connections, trying to make sense of the world and keep us safe, right?
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes those connections get crossed.
Okay.
Leading to those, like, inappropriate anxiety responses.
Like Cassie.
Yeah.
Who's terrified of flying.
Right.
Logically, she knows that it's safer than driving, but those triggers kick in.
And she ends up yelling at flight attendants.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of how triggers can override logic.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And send us into a tailspin.
Yeah, and what's even more challenging is that we're not always aware of those triggers. They can be buried so deep, you know, influencing us without us even realizing it.
Like Angela's story.
Yes.
The one Beck tells.
Yeah.
About the woman who only realized in therapy how her experiences growing up, black and white community, had affected her.
Her mental and physical health.
Yeah.
That's a powerful reminder that sometimes we need other people to help us see those blind spots, those deep patterns that we just don't even recognize on our own.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're walking around with all these, like, invisible wounds, you know?
Right.
And they can just get triggered out of nowhere.
Oh, totally.
And it's not always easy to, like, dismantle those patterns even when we know they're there.
Right.
You know, like Cassie with her fear of flying, even when she knew it didn't make sense. She still struggled with it.
It shows you how strong those subconscious reactions can be.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They just take over, even when we know better.
Exactly.
It's like our nervous system has a mind of its own.
It's got a mind of its own.
Yeah, and that's where Beck brings in this polyvagal theory, right?
Yes, polyvagal theory.
To try to understand.
It's like a roadmap to our nervous system and how it reacts to perceived threats.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
But I'm still kind of fuzzy on the details.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But the basic idea is that our nervous system is always scanning for cues of safety or danger, right? And it reacts by shifting between different states.
Okay.
Think of it like a traffic light.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah.
So green light means?
Green light means safe and connected. Your heart rate's steady, you're breathing easy, you can engage with the world calmly and openly.
What about yellow?
Yellow means caution.
Okay.
The nervous system sees a potential threat.
Okay.
And those fight, flight, or fawn responses get activated. You might feel your heart racing.
Right.
Muscles tense up.
Yeah.
Your mind starts going a mile a minute.
And red?
Red light is full shutdown.
Oh, wow.
The nervous system senses like imminent danger.
Okay.
And you go into survival mode.
Wow.
You might freeze up, feel numb.
Yeah.
Dissociate from everything around you.
Intense.
Yeah.
So how does knowing about this polyvagal theory actually help us with anxiety?
Well, one important thing is it tells us that everyone's nervous system is different.
Oh, okay.
What might trigger a yellow light for you might not even register for me.
So we each have like
it's like we each have
a personalized anxiety control panel.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. That's why some people are unflappable and others are freaking out.
Exactly, right.
But how do we actually work with this?
Well, Beck says we need to be aware of our own triggers for each state. Green, yellow, and red.
Okay.
Pay attention to the little cues in your body and mind that signal a shift is happening.
So basically, develop a better sense of like...
Yeah, self-awareness.
Yeah.
Notice those early warning signs.
Okay.
Before things get out of control.
Like, when my heart starts pounding in meetings.
Yes, exactly.
And my palms sweat.
Yeah, that could be your nervous system.
Oh, yeah.
Shifting into yellow light.
That's me.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do once we see those triggers?
Well, Beck talks about glimmers.
Glimmers?
Yeah, little positive experiences that can help shift us back to green light.
Okay.
Think of them like sparks of joy that help regulate your nervous system.
So we're not just avoiding triggers. We're looking for stuff that brings us back to balance.
Yes. Beck says we should create sanctuaries.
Sanctuaries?
Yeah, spaces filled with things that make you happy.
Oh, okay.
Could be a corner in your home, a favorite park, a playlist of music that soothes you.
I like that. Little oases of calm.
Yeah, exactly.
Amidst all the chaos.
And it's not just external.
Okay.
Beck says we should also create those internal sanctuaries.
Oh, okay.
Things that help us find peace inside ourselves. That's where meditation, mindfulness, breath work can be really powerful.
It's like building a fortress of calm, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Inside and out.
Yeah.
But what about those really deep, ingrained anxiety patterns?
Right.
The ones that keep us stuck.
Yeah, those core beliefs and fears that shape our whole worldview.
Yeah, those are tough.
That's where Beck introduces internal family systems.
IFS.
Yeah, IFS.
Okay.
It helps us understand the different parts inside us that contribute to our anxiety.
Oh, interesting.
It's like all these internal characters vying for control.
I remember you mentioned this.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how it works.
Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
The exiles are the wounded parts of ourselves.
Okay.
Often from childhood.
Yeah.
We try to bury them deep down.
Okay.
They hold the pain, the fear, the shame.
Oh, wow.
Then there are the managers,
okay,
those controlling parts.
Yeah.
Try to keep everything in order.
Yeah.
They want to prevent those exiles from surfacing.
So the managers are like our inner critics.
Exactly.
The ones that say we're not good enough.
Yeah, not smart enough, not worthy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've got the firefighters.
Firefighters.
Yeah, they jump in to extinguish the pain.
Okay.
Often in ways that aren't so healthy.
So the firefighters are like, those coping mechanisms we talked about.
Yes, exactly. Fight, fawn.
They could be addictions, workaholism, people-pleasing, anything to numb out, to avoid those painful emotions.
Yes, the ones those exiles are carrying.
Wow, it's a lot going on inside.
It is. It's a whole internal world.
Yeah.
But IFS gives us a way to understand these parts and work with them compassionately. Okay. It's recognizing that each part has a good intention.
Right.
Even if their actions are messed up.
So the managers are trying to protect us.
Yes.
From getting hurt.
Exactly.
And the firefighters just want to...
They just want to help us cope.
Help us cope.
Yeah.
It's a much nicer way to look at it.
Right.
Than just saying they're bad or wrong.
It is. It's about understanding.
Yeah.
Beck suggests this exercise.
Okay.
It's called the letter to my other selves.
Okay.
You write to those different parts.
Oh, interesting.
Ask them why they do what they do.
Okay.
And just listen to their stories with empathy.
Like giving them a voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of judging them.
Integrating those exiled parts back into a sense of wholeness.
But Beck says to do this with support.
Yes. It's important to have a safe environment.
Yeah, of course.
Because it can bring up some intense emotions.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So Beck's approach looks at both the stuff inside us and the external stuff.
Exactly, both internal and external.
That contributes to our anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear more about those societal influences.
Right.
That she talks about.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
She says the structures of modern life, especially the ones driven by like economic pressures, are huge contributors to chronic anxiety.
So it's not just us.
It's not just you.
It's the system.
Yeah, the system is kind of set up to keep us on edge.
It's easy to think there's something wrong with us.
Oh, totally.
If we're struggling to keep up.
Yeah, because we're constantly bombarded with messages about success, achievement, productivity.
It's like an endless treadmill, right?
It is. It's like you're always striving. Yeah.
But never feeling like it's enough.
Never enough.
Yeah.
And social media just makes it worse.
Oh, for sure.
Comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah, constantly.
Feeling inadequate, like we're falling behind.
Yeah, Beck uses Nikki's story.
Oh, okay.
She seems to have it all, the American dream.
Right.
But she's actually consumed by anxiety.
It's like they say, money can't buy happiness.
Exactly.
You can have all the success in the world and still feel empty.
Yeah, totally empty.
And Beck points to Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
As a prime example of this.
Yeah, a perfect
fear-based system.
Jeff Bezos even admits it.
Really?
He says he fosters a culture of fear.
Wow.
Believes that anxiety drives productivity.
Oh, my God.
Leads to more wealth.
That sounds awful.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, is this the only way?
Right. Do we have to be anxious to succeed?
Beck says there's another way.
Okay.
A way that respects our natural inclination.
Allows us to create a more fulfilling life.
Okay. I like that.
She calls for a shift in perspective. Becoming an anxiety whisperer.
Okay.
Not just for ourselves. But for the world.
Okay. So this anxiety whispering on a societal level. How does that work?
It's about moving away from that, like, breaking mentality.
Okay.
You know, that forceful way of controlling things, both ourselves and the world around us.
Okay.
And embracing a gentler, more compassionate approach.
Okay.
It's recognizing that anxiety is a signal.
Okay.
A message trying to get our attention.
Okay.
So instead of suppressing it, we learn to listen and respond with understanding.
So instead of forcing ourselves into these molds of success, we question them.
Exactly.
Create a new path that feels right for us.
Yes, it's about shifting from scarcity and fear to abundance and trust.
Okay.
And Beck reminds us that it starts within. Reconnect with nature. Do things that bring you joy. Cultivate peace in your daily life.
We're not machines, right?
We're not.
We're humans.
We're human.
You need connection, creativity, meaning.
And Beck really emphasizes the importance of play.
Play.
Yeah, play. She says we're naturally curious beings.
Okay.
And that curiosity is what sparks creativity.
Like little kids.
Yes. Exactly.
They can spend hours engrossed in something simple.
Yeah.
Totally absorbed.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not worried about the outcome.
Right.
They're just enjoying the process.
And that's what Beck calls dedicated play.
Dedicated play. Okay.
Yeah. Doing things we find inherently enjoyable.
Okay.
Things that spark our curiosity. Pull us into that state of flow.
And she's clear that this isn't about being lazy.
No, not at all.
Or avoiding responsibility.
Right.
It's about approaching things with joy and curiosity.
Yeah.
Which can actually make us better at what we do.
Exactly. It's about tapping into that childlike wonder.
Yeah.
Getting lost in creation.
I love that. So we're not just managing anxiety.
Right.
We're using it to fuel creativity and growth.
Exactly. Beck says that when we learn to work with our anxiety, listen to it instead of silencing it, we unlock all this potential.
Wow.
And that's not just for ourselves.
Okay.
It's for creating a better world.
Okay, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
How does Beck connect this personal transformation to larger societal shifts?
Well, one of the key ideas is social cells.
Social cells?
Yeah, groups of people committed to positive change.
So as we wake up to this new way of being, we find others on the same path.
Exactly.
Create these pockets of transformation.
Yeah, Beck uses this beautiful metaphor.
Okay.
Water eroding rock.
Okay.
We might feel small on our own,
Right.
but together we can create massive shifts.
Wow.
It's a reminder that small actions matter.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
We're not alone.
No, not at all.
There's this whole movement of people
Yes.
yearning for something different.
Yeah.
A way of being that's more aligned with.
Yeah, aligned with our values.
Our values, our hearts.
And Beck says it's not just about changing the outside.
Okay.
It's also about transforming our consciousness.
Okay.
Shifting from fear to love and connection.
That sounds pretty deep.
It is. It is.
To give an example?
Sure. Beck talks about her son, Adam.
Okay.
He has Down syndrome.
Okay.
He had this amazing experience listening to the sounds of the planets.
Wow.
And it opened up a whole new way of seeing the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a reminder that wisdom can come from unexpected places.
Yeah, it challenges our ideas about intelligence.
Right, exactly.
Recognizes that everyone has unique gifts.
Yeah, and Beck argues that when we create a more inclusive society where everyone feels valued, we unlock this collective wisdom that can guide us to a more compassionate future.
So it's not just individual. Right. It's about everyone having a chance.
Yeah, everyone having a chance to thrive.
To thrive.
And contribute their gifts.
We're all in this together.
We're all connected.
Yeah.
And as we cultivate this sense of connection,
yeah.
Beck says we become more in tune with the subtle energies and synchronicities that are happening around us all the time.
Living in the mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. It's like a sense of wonder and possibility.
Trusting that the universe is working with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we open to this mystery, we become more receptive.
Yeah, to those creative impulses and intuitive insights that can guide us.
Letting go of that need for certainty.
Yes, that rigid left brain control, allowing ourselves to be guided by something bigger.
That intuitive wisdom inside us all.
Exactly. Yeah. And when we trust that inner guidance, we tap into this source of creativity and resilience.
That helps us through tough times.
Exactly.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff.
But does Beck offer like any practices or tools?
She does, yeah.
To help us build this trust and connect with our intuition?
One of the simplest things, but also one of the most powerful, is spending time in nature.
In nature.
Yeah. Find a spot where you feel peaceful.
Okay.
Could be a forest, a beach, your backyard, and just be present in that moment.
Okay.
Quiet your mind. Tune into your senses.
Okay.
Let yourself be filled with that awe that nature brings.
That sense of something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as we cultivate that awe, Beck says we become more attuned to those whispers of intuition.
Those little nudges.
Yeah, the ones that can guide us to our highest potential.
So it's not just about relaxing.
No.
It's about tapping into a deeper wisdom.
Exactly.
Okay.
Beck also encourages creative pursuits.
Creative pursuits.
Yeah, like writing, painting, dancing. Anything that lets you express yourself authentically.
Just let that creative energy flow.
Yeah, without judgment.
Without judgment.
Yeah.
And as we do these things, Beck says, we'll start to notice synchronicities.
Oh, yeah, those meaningful coincidences that seem to guide us.
Like we're tuning into the signs and messages from the universe.
Yeah, and Beck says we should trust those synchronicities.
Okay.
Follow those nudges.
Yeah.
See where they lead.
It's like an adventure.
It is an adventure.
Self-discovery.
Yeah, guided by intuition.
And fueled by creativity.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like we're being asked to just kind of like, let go, you know?
Yeah, embrace the unknown.
Embrace the unknown.
Trust the journey.
Yeah, trust the journey.
Yeah.
Like when you look up at the night sky and you're just like awestruck by how vast and mysterious it all is.
Yeah.
We don't have to like figure it all out.
Right.
We can just, you know.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Beck encourages us to like cultivate that awe.
Yes.
In our everyday lives. You know?
In everyday life, yeah.
Notice those little miracles.
The little things.
The little things, yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate the beauty of nature. Connect with, you know.
Something bigger.
Something bigger than ourselves.
She even shares some of her own stories.
Oh, yeah?
About experiencing, like, what she calls magic.
Magic.
Like bending spoons with her mind.
Wow.
Witnessing impossible things.
Yeah. She uses those examples to show us that reality is way more mysterious and flexible than we think.
And
she says those experiences become more available to us when we move out of those anxiety spirals and into a more relaxed and receptive state.
It's like we're tuning into a different
frequency.
Frequency, yeah.
Yeah.
Where all those limitations kind of start to disappear.
Yeah, they dissolve. And as we open up to those new possibilities, we connect with others who are like on the same wavelength.
On a similar path. Yeah, forming those social cells.
Yeah, like we're creating a network of light. Right?
A network of light. I love that. Spreading that wonder and possibility. It's a good reminder that we're not alone in this.
Not alone.
No.
Yeah, there are so many people waking up to
this new way.
To this new way of being.
And Beck uses that metaphor again.
You okay?
Water eroding rock.
Okay.
Our individual efforts might seem small, but together, we create a force that can change anything.
It's a good reminder.
It is.
That our actions, they matter.
They do, even the small ones.
Even the small acts of kindness, creativity, courage.
It all contributes.
It creates that ripple effect.
Yes.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Beyond Anxiety,
I think the main takeaway is we have the power to choose.
Choose how we respond.
How we respond to anxiety.
Yeah.
Turn it from a source of suffering into a catalyst for growth.
Into a catalyst for growth.
Yeah.
It's not the enemy, it's a messenger.
A guide.
Yeah, a guide.
Trying to show us a better way.
A more authentic, fulfilling way of being.
Exactly.
This has been incredible.
It has.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
My pleasure. It's been great talking with you.
And to our listener, I hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity.
Yes.
And maybe even inspired you to start your own journey.
Your own journey.
Beyond anxiety.
Beyond anxiety. Embrace the mystery.
Embrace the mystery.
Trust your intuition.
Trust your intuition.
And never stop exploring.
Ever stop exploring those things that bring you joy and wonder.
Exactly.